What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rimworld. House cleaning, real quick. Smash that like button. Share, subscribe, do all that stuff. You know how it works. I tried to make a video last night, but things just, you know how it goes, man. It's just life. And I've been dealing with some truck stuff and minor stuff, but just stuff. And so I wanted to make sure that I did something tonight. So anyway, here we are. Welcome back to Rimworld. Hope you guys are doing okay, and let's jump in. Okay, so if I remember right, I think the last time we left off, we were in the process of loading up a caravan to head down to the Keycaspes colony. I don't know if I should even call it a colony, really. I mean, if you think about it, they're an established, like, town, I guess. So let's just call it a town or a city. Settlement. How about that? We'll call it a settlement. God damn it. But we're in the process of loading up a caravan to head down to Keycaspes to trade some textiles and skins and wool and everything else, furs. So that's one thing that's kind of going on. And it's a big caravan, man. It's like 8 yaks or whatever. And they're all loaded up to the rim with stuff, to say nothing about the 4 horses I think that I've got. Is it 4 or 3? I don't know. 4, 3, 3, 4, somewhere around there. But anyway, we've got that going on, and we are still in the process right now of building the southern growing basin wing. But it's coming along really nicely. And as you can see, we finally finally laid down the slate, or the slate tiles, I should say. We cleared up all the medicine stuff that was from the old medicine bay. And something just dawned on me. I'm gonna have to kind of refine my zones real quick, because my old zones, they have been structured to include that old med bay. So let me just kind of look at stuff here real quick. Yeah, see, workshop detail. So okay, we can do this real quick, man. Let's do, not do that. Clear that, and that. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so there's the workshop. Boomalope. You know, we should probably... Let's expand the Boomalope zone. The Boomalope feeding zone, I mean, to include all of this. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to give the Boomalope feeder people the ability to come by and basically grab some of the rice as it becomes I don't know, harvested like that. And the reason being is because half the time, whenever these colonists go around and harvest the rice, they do exactly what you're seeing here. They just leave the fucking rice right there. I don't understand why they do that. I think that's something to do with how I've made things, I guess. I don't know. But I know it's a pain in the ass. And what am I doing here? I'm looking at the zone here because I'm noticing... Oh, it's the bot. Okay. But that still applies. Okay, so the feeder bots, the Boomalope feeder bots, if these growing basins are included in the zone that they're a part of, that'll give them the ability and the freedom to come by and grab some of those rice things and go and take them to the Boomalope feeding zones. So I definitely want that. That's the reason I do that. Because the colonists, whenever they come by and they harvest the rice, they just leave it there. And it's not because I don't have them allowed to, haul stuff or anything like that, man. It's just that I don't use the tiered approach in terms of like prioritizing things whenever it comes to like uh, uh, work priorities. I use just the stuff that you start out with, the model, you know, that isn't prioritized. In other words, is what I'm trying to explain here. And the reason I do that is because I found in the past, at least, whenever you screw around with the priorities, it's, I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little more difficult to maintain. I just accidentally added a freaking zone here. So let me get this out of the way here, because I'm kind of multi-threading here. I don't always do very well whenever I multi-thread. Okay, so let me get these zone things done. So okay, so there's that. Let me see here. Ag detail. We want ag detail basically everywhere. Okay, stonework and mining detail. That's one we gotta fix here real quick. So let me get that. That's okay. There's that. And if you have any questions or comments about what I'm doing, man, please definitely leave some comments or whatever on my comment stuff. I know I'm kind of going through some of this kind of quickly, and it goes without saying, man, that I'm not trying to be some sort of Rimworld expert. I know that there's a lot of stuff that I could probably learn myself. So if you have any like tips or tricks or just whatever, man, you want to call me an asshole, whatever it is, man, just let me know down in the comments. Okay, so there's that. That's stone. That was actually cooking detail, food crop. We're gonna have to expand the food crop because my food crop zone is basically what it kind of sounds like, man. You know, they just go around and grab stuff from all of my fields and whatnot. Let's add that. Okay. Now, this is blank because at some point there was a wall here. And that's been removed, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. Let's go ahead and keep going here. Food crop, toxic loading detail. We don't need to worry about that. This one we do, though. Cooking cleaner bot zone. Let me see here. Okay, so I've allowed my cleaner bots assigned to this zone to clean these areas, or at least I thought I did. So should we do that, man? I think we should. And the reason I'm thinking that is because if we have cleaner bots cleaning our growing basin areas, that will kind of keep things somewhat sterile, or not sterile, but like a clean room, you know, kind of like what you wind up with big data centers, where you basically have to wear these fucking hazmat suits to be able to go into these server rooms and shit, you know, because it kills the dust and stuff like that, and especially prolific for things like chip makers, like Intel's places. So I think we'll go ahead and do that. Because here's a good reason why, and you can kind of see it here. Up here, the clean, everything's kind of mostly clean. I mean, there's a little bit of a dirt thing here, I guess, but generally everything up here is clean. But if you look down here, look at all this shit, man. All this, I guess, like, I don't know, mud and dirt and whatever else. So let's go ahead and add that to the cleaner bot zone. I think that'll help out with stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. Because I'll tell you, man, one thing that you run into in this game... Shit, I didn't mean to include that stupid block there. One thing you run into in this game is the fact that whenever your colonists get dirty, or they see dirt in their like living spaces and stuff, it really screws up their mood. And once they... Obviously, you guys know that once the mood drops to a certain extent, you start having those conniption fits and stuff like, you know, the crap that really causes a lot more problems than what people, I think, might realize. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and add that. Let's add... Shit, hold on a second. I think I'm on the remove. I need to expand it. There's that. and that. There we go. Now, I haven't added the cleaner bots to these fields. Part of me would really love to, because I know that there's a, like, you know, livestock crap laying around in the soil and stuff, and everybody's walking through it and tracking it through the house. I get it, man, but I just don't have the bandwidth for it right now, really. Because I'm doing everything I can to try to maintain a certain level of efficiency with the bots that I have. And so I'm trying to kind of be smart about how I assign these zones. But at some point, if we get to a point where I finally get some more mechanators in my colony, I'll wind up trying to do something to where I put some cleaner bots on these livestock pens. Because they do need clean, man. As you can see, there's a bunch of shit in there that just needs to be cleaned up. And when your colonists walk through that crap and they track it through the house, then that causes problems, and, you know, one thing leads to another. Okay, so there's that. Let's see, what else do we have here? We've got one last thing here, and we don't need to worry about that. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so now, let me see here. What should we do? I guess we just go ahead and keep working on these growing basins. Let me see here. Build. And in case you're wondering why I'm building in this pattern, I think I may have messed up here. Oh, what? Okay, never mind, I haven't. Everything's cool. The reason I'm building in this pattern is because of stuff that I've read online about how it basically coincides with the proximity of the sun lamp. So it's basically building within that zone. That's all it is, man. It maximizes efficiency. These. Okay, boo bam. Oh, well, whenever we build these columns here, we'll get rid of this one here. But I think I need to build one more right there before I do. Okay, there we go. And this light too. You can just deconstruct it. All right, man. Things are moving forward. Let's see how the caravan's doing. It's a little stagnant, but I'm assuming the people that are involved in it are probably sleeping. Oh, okay, here comes Mai. What's she doing? Yeah, they're still gathering supplies. And like I said, man, I've indicated for the caravan to have, like, I don't know how many pieces of skins and wools and things like that. So it's liable to take a couple days for it to load up. But what we're doing here with the caravan, at least, I mentioned earlier the establishment of Keycaspes. That's down here, okay? That is right here. So it takes about, how long is it? I'll be honest with you here. From here to there, it's about just shy of 2 days. And so basically 4 days round trip. And the goal here is to basically take a bunch of my skins and textiles and wools and furs and all this other shit, go down there and trade and load up on things like components and maybe some more weapons or just fucking whatever they might have. It's kind of a toss of the coin whenever you start doing this kind of stuff, because sometimes whenever you do these manual trips like this or these ground trips, sometimes you can luck out and really hit big with things like components and advanced components and things like, I don't know, charge rifles or whatever it is that they might have. And then there's been times in the past when I would go down there with in similar fashion with, you know, completely loaded up, and they might have only like a few industrial grade med kits, which I hope and pray this is not going to be the case here. Because it sucks whenever you go through all this stuff where you're loading up all this shit, man, and you get down there and they've only got some sort of paltry amount of thing that you might like. So we'll see what happens, but that's basically what they're doing. They're loading that caravan up and they're going to head down there, and it'll take about 2 days, maybe 3 to get down there, you know, because you got to remember they got to sleep and stuff like that. So, but I think it's moving along, man. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But stuff down here in the southern wing, though, it's looking good. And once that cleaner bot comes through after everything's been built, man, it's going to look pretty good, man. I think. I hope. I could definitely use some more cleaner bots, but I've tried to prioritize the lifters and the constructoids and the agrobots. I tell you though, man, it's been it's been quite the journey getting to this extent of this colony. You know, building all of these freaking uranium slug turrets and all of these rooms and all of these zones, and the worst part that I've had in this game so far, at least with this colony, was realizing that something had to change with how I was doing at some point the stuff with my boomalopes, because at one point in the game it was a mixed population, male and female, and that was completely unsustainable. I mean, it just got completely overwhelming, and I don't know why I didn't think of it or realize it earlier on, because I was like, you know, I guess in my simple mind at the time I was thinking to myself, well, it makes sense to just keep all the boomalopes here, you know, all the horses over here, stuff like that. But once it reached a point to where I was overpopulated with these damn things, I literally had to go through and call the herd, and I got my whole entire colony together, marshaled them up, and they literally went on a hunting spree, killing those damn things. And boy, oh boy, was that a mess. And that was a while back, man. That was about maybe 25 years ago, in game years. And that came close to collapsing my entire colony. But once I separated the men from the women, everything began to solidify and calm down. But it took a long time to get to that point. All right, so it looks like Joaquin is wanting a look change. And I really don't feel like messing with it, man. And the reason I never mess with this is because the building thing that you use to do that with, which is this thing right here, they sometimes get in this infinite loop where they keep applying dye to fabric. I don't know what it is, but I've looked it up online, and I think it's a little bit of a bug. But we'll go ahead and give it a shot here just to see what happens. Let me see if I can find him. Or her. Is it her or him? Okay, so it's a him. Okay, so we'll queue it up. Okay, so once he gets done eating, he'll come down here and try to change his looks, and we'll see what we can come up with. Bear with me here. I'm going to go get another drink. For any of my viewers who are of drinking age, you might want to check out. You're probably not going to be able to see this. Let me hold on a second here. Let me put my bigger thing on. There we go. This stuff right here, On the Rocks Mojito. They also, excuse me. They also have a margarita that kicks ass too. But if you're of the drinking age, you might check that out. Okay, so anyway, that's not sponsored. Okay, back to the game here. These are all really good though. Okay, so where are we here? All right, man. So everything is going along nicely. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and clear something up here. I don't like it whenever I leave those behind. You know, those little planting marks, I guess. I'm kind of anal about stuff like that, so who I am, I guess. Oh, man. I love these constructoids, but man, I just cannot stand how long they take to build stuff. The only thing that I can't stand about those things. And it's the same way with the fabricors too. I remember in a different game colony that I had, I had a bunch of fabricors in that colony, and they just take forever to build stuff. But back then, I don't remember these things, these mech booster things. This is the first time I've ever used those. So, and I have noticed a little bit of a difference, at least in terms of how long it takes a mech to like go from point A to point B with these things built. It's not huge, but it is enough to make a little bit of a difference. And I'm assuming that carries over with their actual like building of stuff too. So if you build a colony and you intend to have a bunch of mechanoids, definitely make sure to build a bunch of these things, because I do think that they help. Let's check out some wildlife here. Okay, so we've got a warg. Where's that? Now, at some point in the future, once I've had my fill of this colony, which is going to take a while, I'm going to wind up building a new colony. And when I do, I'm going to put it on a little bit of a harder AI. Because one thing I've noticed with this colony's settings is that the AI, I don't know if I did something with the settings of the AI or if it's just something else, but whenever I visit ancient complexes and stuff, there is never any kind of active, alive mechanoid or mech, I mean, or even any kind of opposition at all. And I think that's because of something that I must have done whenever I was configuring this colony. But in the future, whenever I finally move on to the later version of this game that I have right now that I just haven't installed, I'm going to make sure to change that. So anyway, okay, so here's Joaquin. And Joaquin's a guy, if I'm not mistaken. So we need to, I don't know if I, I don't know if I like that. The hell is that? Oh, no, don't want that, don't want that. I think I'm kind of cool with that. Change him all white, and we'll give him black and white. What do you think? He's clearly some sort of like hybrid or something with the tail. Or actually, he's going to be one of those, oh, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called, man. I don't really know what color to give them, though. And I always use white and black simply because it's easy to distinguish, you know, between their clothing and their body. It's not because I'm racist. I swear to God, it's nothing like that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we can go ahead and go with black skin and white clothing. But the point is that I always do that simply because it's easier to distinguish between the body and the clothing that way, you know. But I suppose we can go with like maybe, I don't know, maybe green, something like that. Go with green. Should we give him a beard? That's actually kind of cool, I guess. That's... What about a goat? Something kind of pointy. let's do that, because that's kind of like my little my Satan goat. So let's roll with that. Okay, so face tattoo. I don't like these face tattoos because you can't really see it. So why even give it? Screw that. Okay, I think we'll just go with this, man. You know, fuck it. Not like it matters. The point is that he's getting to change his appearance. Now here's the thing that I was talking about. Right now, as you can see, he's like doing stuff with his clothing or whatever. Now he's going to rest. So maybe that means then that he's not in the bug loop. But usually what happens is that they'll come to this thing, this wooden styling station, and they'll start doing this weird loop where they'll keep applying dye coloring to their clothing or the textiles or whatever. And they never get out of the loop for some reason, or at least that's happened at least once. So it'll be interesting to see if it happens to Joaquin, because sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if there's really much of a pattern behind it. It seems kind of sporadic as far as I'm concerned. But it'll be interesting to see if he does it. Because if he does, then what I'm going to have to do is deconstruct the stupid styling station and tell him to go take it up the ass whenever it comes to his style change. Which I don't like to do, because then you wind up having a mood buffer thing going on, and you know, or a whatever you call it, a mood penalty. And then at some point he'll start bitching, complaining, and probably lighting shit on fire. Damn, man, when are these people gonna leave? Okay, so who will? Let's see if we can figure out where they are with everything. Okay, so we've got Gabs, who's this? Tessa, I guess. And is it just those three? Okay, so I guess it's just those three. So it's Gabs, shit. Hold on a second. Or May. Maybe it's May. I don't fucking know, man. I say my and that Tessa chick. So Mai is sleeping, as is Gabs, and looks like Tessa is gathering some supplies while the other two sleep. So I'd like to think that they're just about ready to go, because these things are looking like they're pretty loaded up. I'm not mistaken here. Yeah. Yeah, they've been working their ass off loading that caravan up. So I'm betting at some point soon they're going to wind up leaving. And that's good, man, because I would love to load up on some more medicine, and not that we necessarily need it, because we've got 399 of the industrial grade medicine, I guess. But I don't know if we have any of the Glitter World medicine, and I think we might be out of that, and I do not like being out of that stuff. That shit can sometimes make or break a situation. But the good news, though, is that we have... let me see here. I think, if I recall correctly, I think we have at least one healer mech serum. Yeah, we've got at least one of those. So if push comes to shove and we wind up in a major problem, we have a trump card. But I only try to use those mech serums in absolute emergencies. And I always try to have at least 3 of them. But something came up a while back and I had to use 2 of them, so now we're down to only 1. So I'm hoping at some point we wind up with another mission where we can go to an ancient complex where some of that shit might exist. Grab it and come home. Or a mission, you know. Sometimes you get that stuff from missions. Constructoids, come out and build. when I eventually make a new colony, I'm thinking I might make a grid-based colony. Because in this colony, the layout is basically like this sphere, you know, or this circle, whatever you want to call it, surrounded by the turrets. And there's no doubt that that's a pretty freaking awesome type of self-defense system. But I've thought a lot about how I would redo things if I had to go back in time. And I think a grid-based system also has its advantages too. And so I don't know if I'm going to wind up doing that in the future or not. We'll have to see. But I think right now, man, we're just kind of in a waiting pattern. Waiting for this stuff to get built and waiting for that caravan to get going. I hope you guys are doing okay. I know here in Indiana we're having some spring-like weather. I think tomorrow we're going to get some storms because I guess there's like a front coming in, and then I think Friday it's going to be a little cooler because I think today it was up around like mid to upper 50s, and I think tomorrow it's going to be a little bit of the same. But then between, I don't know, like noon and evening, that front's going to roll in, and I think it's going to drop us back down to like 40s and 30s. Which I honestly don't mind, man. I don't really mind winters. Anymore, the older I get, the more I almost like winter more than I do summer. And the reason being is because whenever summer comes around, I can't stand that damn humidity and all of those damn bugs. Especially those fucking buffalo gnats, man. Those little gnats that like fly into your grill. You'll just be sitting outside somewhere and then there's like a fucking gnat that flies into your eyeball. Little assholes. But the humidity, the heat, you know, the higher electric bills. Just anymore, man. Here in Indiana, at least, summers suck ass. And so I kind of anymore prefer winter almost over summer. And there's still things about winter, obviously, that I can't stand. Like the fucking snow and all that shit and the ice and having to trudge out to go to work at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning on icy, snowy roads in like sub-degree weather. That shit sucks, man. But, you know, I don't know. I just know that when it comes to summer, bugs, the humidity, the heat, the higher electric bills, that shit sucks too. So I don't know which one's necessarily better, but I know that at least right now we're in kind of like a little bit of a spring cell right now, or front, and today was really nice, and I think tomorrow's it's going to be just as nice. But then sometime after around like 3 o'clock, I think we're going to start seeing some little bit of a front come in, and then it's going to go back down to normal temperatures, I guess. All right. Oh, man. You know, this game does struggle, though, with caravans. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't take into account how long it takes, I guess, to load up the caravans, but also on the same hand, make sure that the animals that are involved in your caravans are properly fed. Because there have been times in the past when I would be stuck in like some sort of, I don't know, limbo where I'm waiting on all these colonists to load up the caravans, and the freaking animals would wind up coming close to starving to death. Man, look at all that rice. That is what I like to see. We've got some more coming up here before too long. Something weird about this layout, though, is that the colonists always seem to struggle with keeping these refrigerators stocked for some reason. I don't know if it's something with the zones or what, but this fridge over here, the freezer, this freezer down here especially, And the one up here, as you can see, those never have problems for some reason. And I'm not sure why. Let's go ahead and re-enable this. A little bit of plasteel hit. I think there's some over here too. Enable all of those. But when you get to a point in this game where you're not having to respond every single second to someone having some sort of conniption fit, that's when this game gets really fun. Because then it's at that point where you can kind of relax and you can kind of see shit get built and not see a bunch of assholes lighting shit on fire or destroying shit. Because I hate it when you gotta fuck around with that, man. That shit sucks. It takes so long to get through that too sometimes. Okay, so that's come along. Let's go ahead and plan for the next one. Actually, hold on a second here. I'm gonna build this real quick. That's and that there, and that is completely planned for now. Okay, so there's that. Now, one's in the middle. Let me get my little planner tool thing out. This is the way I always do this, and I know this is probably archaic, but just bear with me here. 14. Okay. 14. All right. There. And let's see here. I could probably just move this. Right there, right? Yeah. Okay, there we go. So that's the starting point now. Let me clear some stuff up here real quick. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's build some more of these. At least get something going here. Kind of get us on the starting path. Start with that for now. And we're gonna have to do something soon with these over here. I want to move these out over like basically one block so that everything's kind of consistent, you know. It's anal, I know, but it's just how I am about stuff. I hate it when stuff isn't feng shui. Watching this video though, or if you watch any of my videos and you haven't played this game, man, definitely give it a shot. It's a super fun game. I'm 42 years old. Now I've got a full-time job. I spend my time half the time worrying about my house or my vehicles. So it's nice to kind of come here and watch these little colonists worrying about their lives. It's just nice to see somebody else worry about their lives instead, you know. Gives me a little bit of an escape, I guess. But this is a fun game, no joke. It's kind of like a SimCity slash, I don't know. I mean, the SimCity part you obviously understand, but honestly, I can't think of a game where you were sitting there worrying about colonists, though. Or like on a well, okay, Sims maybe. It's kind of similar, right? You know, I mean, SimCity. It's a little bit of like an amalgamation of the two, except in this, the obvious theme is that you're trying to survive on this fucking planet. And I know that the goal is supposed to be that you build this spacecraft and you just fucking leave the planet, but I like to play it out. You know, I like to say, all right, you know, these colonists, they've decided to shun their first world problems, and they just want to go ahead and make their own life. Because I know that if it were me and I was stuck on a planet and I didn't want to have to worry about bills or vehicle repairs, at least in the traditional sense, you know, and I didn't want to have to worry about things like property taxes or being fired from a job because I hate my boss or some shit like that, I would choose to stay on the goddamn planet and make my own society, start over, you know, try to correct the mistakes of my forebears. Is that very realistic? In real life, man, you'd probably want to get the hell off the planet and go back home, but I don't know, man. It's fun to kind of fantasize about, I guess. Because we've all got those kinds of fantasies where we want to sit around and think about ways that we would do things differently if we were in charge, or if we had a way to kind of just change everything. I know I think about shit like that all the time. I don't know about you guys, but I sure should do. And I know it's easier said than done, obviously. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so the southern boomalope, which I believe is the females, right? No, actually, those might be the males. Yeah. Okay, so the southern pin is the males. And it looks like they're stocked up on food. They're looking good, man. Everything's looking great. And by the way, did you know that the males also can be milked? I didn't realize that at first. But yeah, FYI. And then you have the females here. They're up here. Man, we are kicking ass on the kin fuel. My God. Let's go ahead and enable these. Alright. Man, we've got a shit ton of rice over here, too. We are killing it. We are absolutely killing it. Man, even our toxic waste pack count is down. We are doing good, man. We're kicking ass. So yeah, I think, man, we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now. Getting stuff built, waiting for that caravan to go, and just kind of chilling out for a while, which is nice. Let's see if we've got any dead and slaughtered animals. That's always an issue. This one dead. That one dead. No, that's alive. So I think we're good on the... I think we're good in this pen. Let's see what we're looking like over here. I think we're okay over here too. Yeah. Looking good, man. Guess we just need to sit back and relax. Let these mechs do their job. That's the way I like it. Do any of you guys know anything about these frenzy indicators? I mean, is there anything there worth any kind of gain or value? Because I see these things all the time, and whenever I do, I always just click them away, you know? Okay, so thanks to a high mood, Wanda has experienced an inspiration. She will move faster for the next 8 days. Okay, who gives a fuck? You know? Just go ahead and do your thing, whatever. There's nothing there that I should act on, right? If there is, let me know in the comments, please. Because it's stuff like that that just drives me nuts. Because I sometimes sit back and think to myself, am I missing something? But I've never seen anything come from that, so I just always click it away. Oh, we got some other deep drills here that we can enable. Actually, those need to be moved. So let's move those real quick. Let's allow that, move it. Can we get it over here? Let's go ahead and do that. Put that right there. And is that in our zone here real quick? Stonework? Yes, it is. Okay, so there's one. And let's move this one. Allow, reinstall. Where should we put this one? That's over here. That's plasteel. I don't really think we have anything more towards our interior to take advantage of that isn't already got a bunch of these things. I'll tell you what, let's put it out here. Again, make sure our zone is covered. Let's add that. There we go. Alright. Easy peasy Japanesey. Ding. Somebody's doing some hunting. Let's see if we can find it. Bet I know where it is. Yep. Or is that? No, Cortez isn't hunting. I was thinking to be that warg. Somebody hunting that warg, you know? Bark, maybe? I'm betting it was. I'm betting he went after that warg or maybe one of those gazelles and they ran off. Oh well, Clark. Better luck next time. Happens to the best of us. Me being in Indiana, you'd think that I'd have gone hunting at least once, but I've never gone hunting at all. There's a part of me that kind of wishes I would have in my childhood, maybe, you know? Because I know that it'd be an interesting experience, but on the same hand, too, part of me, I guess, is glad that I never went hunting, too. I just don't like hurting animals, man. Even if it's for, like, legitimate purposes, like food or whatever, you know, for survival. And they're going at it. And yeah, by the way, we're in a cold snap. That's actually something that I forgot to mention. So we're dealing right now with a cold snap. You know, it's nothing necessarily to panic about. It's not like I've not been through a cold snap before in this freaking colony, but cold snaps suck, man. Because you always have to worry about, you know, things like any kind of external crops, or depending on how bad it gets, sometimes even your livestock, I think. Especially like the dandelion zones that I have out here. That's something that the temperature can kind of kill off if it gets cold enough. All right, so where are we now with this caravan, man? What's going on here? Here's my forming caravan. She's wondering, so that tells me then. Okay, so here's Gabs. She's wondering. Tessa. wondering. So, okay, what's going on then? Because usually when they start wondering, that means that everything's been packed up and they're ready to go. But there's four... I think there's 4 people. So Gabs, Mai, Tessa, and who else? Let's see if I can find it here. This shit gets hard to manage, man. Whenever you have this many colonists. I don't see. I think there's a 4th person, but I'm having a problem trying to find it. Oh, Oski. Okay, that's the holdup. Okay, so he's eating. So as soon as he gets done eating, I think we'll be ready to go then. Because if everyone else is wondering, excuse me, if everyone else is wandering around and Oski's sitting there chowing down on a fucking Stouffer's, 15-second meal, that tells me that everyone's just waiting on him. So let's just kind of let's sit here and watch him real quick. Okay, so now he's probably gonna put everything back up. Okay, here he goes. All right, here he goes. Forming caravan, wandering. So now we've got Gabs. Gabs is okay. Now they're beginning to leave. Yes, finally. So now they're gonna start heading to the exit. Oh, man. Hey, man. Forming these caravans is a bitch sometimes. You wouldn't really think it, but it is. It takes a long time sometimes to do it. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Let's allow, reinstall, and I think what we'll do is we'll put it in here. Make sure our zone is updated. It's okay. I don't know if you guys have noticed my my generators here. I have 2 little rooms on each wing of chem fuel generators that I don't allow usage of. And the reason I do that is because I keep those as backup, So my main power source are these chem fuel generators here in each of these wings, or I say wings. I don't know what you want to really call this, but rooms. I don't fucking know, man. Shit ton of chem fuel generators in these diagonal areas. Okay, and those are my primary sources of power. Besides all of this stuff down here, I've got multiple. I guess you can't really say that these are generators, but they generate chem fuel, right? But these do generate power. But anyway, I've got some stuff right here, and I've got those 4 corners. Okay. I only ever use these rooms, if shit's getting kind of crazy. Like, trying to think of a situation where I would ever need to use those. And honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know if I necessarily need those, really. We might wind up one day getting rid of that stuff and doing something else with that space. I don't know, but it's good to know that it's there if I ever need it, because it seems, at least right now, I'm getting by perfectly fine on these 4 corners. Right now I'm in a cold snap and I still don't need those extra power chem fuel generators, so maybe it's in excess, I don't know. But the point is that I have those as backups, and I also have these wood generators, or wood fired generators too. So as far as power is concerned, man, I am rocking it. I've got these batteries all around my wall here. I've got my solar panels. I've got the Kingfield generators. I've got shit on backup. It's like I don't really know if any of this is completely necessary, but it's good to know that's there if I need it, you know. Oh, and I also have some fucking wind turbines too. So, Jesus. And oh, and I also have the freaking geothermal thing. So, and by the way, if you ever start a colony, make sure that that's one of the first things you do is tapping into your geothermal uh, geysers or whatever, because you those are one of the best power sources in this game as far as I'm concerned. Okay, guys, we've been basically playing this game now for about an hour. We've made a lot of progress here. We've got our southern wing here going along nicely. The growing basins. We've got the caravan that's beginning to finally make it to the exit. So we'll cover the journey down to Keycaspes in our next video, and we'll obviously catalog everything that's going to be going on down here in the southern wing too. So I expect we're going to wind up having an increase in our food stores before long, because this shit right down here, man, it's going to produce a lot more food than what you might realize. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and leave it at this point. We're going to end it here. I'm going to try everything I can to maybe make another video tomorrow night sometime, because, man, guys, my week, shit, my past 2 weeks have been pretty fucking crazy. I've been dealing with this anxiety from my truck issue here lately, and I finally got that fixed, and my God, I feel like Andy Dufresne that's plopping out of the fucking pipe in Shawshank Redemption at getting that thing finally done and fixed, man, because that was giving me a lot of anxiety. It's just, you know, you worry a lot about your vehicle and stuff that you've got paid off and that you paid a lot of money to try to stay up and running. So now that I got that stupid taillight done, man, it's like a massive relief. But this week, man, it's been a lot of stuff with work, a lot of stuff with my truck, and just trying my best to stay ahead of things. So I'll try as best as I can to make another video tomorrow sometime if I can, if I've got the energy and the time. But at a bare minimum, expect another video. I actually expect 2 videos sometime this weekend. One for Rimworld and another one of my rambling videos. Because I've got a lot of shit, man, that I need to talk about. And some of you guys might find it interesting. Some of you might not. And if you don't, hey, no harm, no foul. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. But there's a lot of stuff with politics and a lot of stuff with, like, the job market and things that are going on in my life that I want to talk about at some point, and I'll probably post that video on Sunday. But as far as another Rimworld video is concerned, I'll try to do that either tomorrow or maybe Saturday. It just depends on what all's going on, because I think there's another UFC fight night going on Sunday or Saturday night, and I never try to miss that shit, man. I love UFC. I would never ever get in the ring with one of those badasses, man. But I love watching them beat the hell out of each other, so I've got to pay attention to that shit, you know. But anyway, it's kind of like a hobby of mine. I hope you guys are doing okay, though. And again, make sure to share, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. And I hope you guys take care, okay? So I'll see you.